Okay, welcome to my real estate company-wide meeting. Today is Thursday, May 14th, 2026. Is Josh gone?
Yes,
Okay.
Brian's gonna do this.
Yep. So lead generation is not about volume first. It's about quality conversations and timing. Timing does most of the work. And I relate this to, I don't know if it's anywhere in like our, mission statements or core values, but the quality over quantity, like that's, I don't know anybody here that doesn't stress that. Like nobody wants a bunch of garbage pouring in. You want quality. It's worth the time to get the good deal, whether it's, saving something, buying online, clients that are actually going to go to the finish line. Don't waste your time chasing stuff that isn't worth the investment.
I also like the timing part of it. I don't know, depending on how long you all have been in the business, I can tell you there's been a couple of times where I've scrubbed my CRM and I look at leads that I didn't properly, connect with. And it's like, oh, they bought a house, they bought a house, they bought a house. So it was about, connecting with them properly and then the timing of them moving. I wasn't their person during that time. So, okay. There's the daily Zoom co-working space Monday through Friday. I think people have been starting to utilize it and have success with it. I am not one of them. I haven't been utilizing it, but all you producers out there should be utilizing it because it is working. Last week we reported that there were 2 listings, I think, that were generated from dedicating time to the specific purpose. And you don't have to like necessarily follow those, but it's nice. People work in that, they co-work in that space and then they say it kind of holds them accountable. Here's your leadership team. I'm Sandy Lynn Burnett, co-founder and CEO. Also, I'd be the person that you come to if you have questions about recruiting, questions about marketing. I'm the person you come to for that. Kyle Reese is our director of operations. She reports directly to me, and all of the rest of the staff reports directly to Kyle. We've got Holly, my co-founder, and she's also the broker of many, many states, and I think adding a few more soon. So that's amazing and exciting. Lindsay Holland is our director of special divisions and Texas managing broker. Brian is director of IT, and he's also our concierge support. You guys know Brian by now. Josh Reese, Director of Advancement, agents with training, growth in that capacity. And he is our South Dakota managing broker. Brennan is our Director of Teams. He has very extensive background in that. And he's West Virginia. And we've got Nate, who gets you paid. All right, on Memorial Day, we will be closed. You guys know that you can get a hold of us no matter what. Just know that it is a holiday. There are, plenty of veterans that like to have the holiday to, take some time to reflect. So if it's important, we'll absolutely help you, but we're not going to hold specific office hours or anything like that. And all meetings and trainings are canceled. Kyle,
Yes, I am
you want to
excited
talk
for this.
about this?
Yes, I'm excited for this class tomorrow. So if you have a hard time with scheduling things, time blocking, just in general, managing all the things you have to do as an agent, I will be here with you tomorrow at 10 to let you know how I organize my day. I generally don't get behind, not saying I'm infallible, but I've learned some tips and tricks along the way being a transaction coordinator for the past, 12 years. So I've seen it all. I've seen all the transactions, all the things that can go wrong, also being a producing agent. So I'm just sharing what I have learned over the years.
And you guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't attend all the trainings now because I have other meetings and other things that need my time and attention. I will be attending this training because I'm honestly fascinated. Like I study Kyle She's quite the specimen. The fact that she's, principal broker, team leader, transaction coordinator, and then now our director of operations, which she manages like flawlessly. So I'm definitely going to be taking a page out of Kyle's book and learning any of the knowledge that she's willing to drop on us. It's incredible. All right. So Josh is coming at us on Monday with a 3-call, no qual workshop. It is his own framework that he designed. That'll be very interesting to see. So we want you to be able to convert your leads. We want you to be able to like reach out to your leads. I think everybody wants leads. Everybody tries to get leads, but then they don't do anything properly with the leads. So let's talk about that. Josh is going to make sure to teach you on that. And he's our lead gen expert. He's very good at that stuff. You guys, we did an Alex Murdaugh like episode of True Crime and Real Estate a while back, and it was one of our most internally popular episodes. Brennan and Brian, they were like facing off and talking each side of it. Like Brian's not saying Alex Murdaugh didn't do it, but Brian's like, here's all of the compelling evidence that shows reasonable doubt. And then Brennan, he's just like, I think he's an asshole and he's guilty. But now Brennan, he wants a rematch. And if you haven't been watching the news, I'll spoil it for you. His conviction for these murders was just overturned. So let's do round 2, Brian versus Brennan. And let's cover down on this story because it's actually riveting. Like to hear Brian talk about some of this evidence, it's stuff that like we all watched the documentaries. We were all like, this dude is guilty as sin. And then to hear, because Brian didn't watch the documentaries, all he did was watch the trial. And he's like, wait a minute, there's a lot of compelling evidence to cast reasonable doubt. So this will be really fun. If you guys hadn't been to part 1, or if you have been to part 1 and want to see part 2, I'm looking very much forward to it. Holly, do you want to talk about your Pop-Tart agent training?
Yeah, but first I'm laughing out loud because Brennan said in the chat, I know he's guilty because I watched the Hulu series.
Yes, exactly.
Which is how I felt, which is so funny because Brian really like started swaying to the other side during that training, which is why I got kind of flustered because I was like, what is my opinion now, So anyways, so don't be a Pop-Tart agent. Some people know what that means and some people don't. But for years, agents would get a call to show a house and they would just stop what they were doing, drop everything, run out to meet them. And so what I want to do is we've done the buyer strategy session, but I want to dig more into the like phone call to strategy session. Like, how do you get the buyer lead from phone call and like, hey, I know you're interested in 123 Main Street. However, we have all this stuff to do first, in a way that isn't super salesy and really gives them the like, what's in it for me and why they should slow down and all the things you need to do. So we're going to dive more into that on Wednesday. Don't be a Pop-Tart agent.
Love it. All right, we've got My Real Estate Show. This podcast has officially launched. You can find this show wherever you get your podcasts. I think agents are going to get a lot out of it. We've had some really great guests so far. We've got some more guests being booked, but what this show is all about is staying up on your real estate game on the daily. The roadmap is changing so quickly with breaking news and different MLSs combining and all these weird things. Holly and I have always struggled, like, how can we help agents keep up with all these different rules? Because if you don't have your finger on the pulse and you just go, out and produce, and then you come back and you're like, wait, this is all of a sudden illegal? Like now, this is all of a sudden a rule now. And so it's kind of another way for us to get the word out to any agent, whether they're with our brokerage or not. Just walk away learning something, but also be entertained. Who wants to talk my summer vacation? Is Lindsay here?
She's here. Okay, there you go.
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute. We have submitted our request to our venues, and hopefully within the next week, or next week's meeting, we'll be able to give you more details on lockdown dates as well as the final location.
Great. Kyle.
Good morning again. All right. Just wanted to do a quick shout out for our early May standouts. Mickey has 3 closings happening this month. One happened earlier this week and she's got 2 more. So great job, Mickey. Christina has 2 closings, and an interesting statistic that I found while reviewing our May production, 100% of the May volume came from sellers, or is coming from sellers. So
That's
pretty
super
great.
interesting.
All right. So like the old saying goes, if you list, you last in this business. So go out and get some listings and your business will be soaring in no time.
It's true though, like you will get leads off of the sign calls. You can maximize the use of it with open houses. Like listings are the name of the game.
Absolutely. Plus you get to put a sign up, which is PR for the company. So win-win.
Exactly. Is Brennan here?
Heyo, yep.
There he is.
Yep. So mortgage, as has been usual for the last few weeks, rates are holding steady. We see that, there's a lot of inflation kind of tied to uh, oil prices and the government right now. It's kind of keeping everything at a standstill. However, I have seen a little bit nationwide that inventory is improving a little bit nationally. Homes are sitting just a hair longer, which means buyers are getting, a little bit more negotiating power again. But other than that, status quo right now for mortgage. So don't lose a deal because of it. And that's about it.
Nice. Social media post of the week.
So these are Debbie's posts. Everyone did a great job this week. She really dove into the challenge until she got tied up with stuff. So I wanted to share these because there was a lot of likes and some interaction. And I just wanted to say, keep up the good work. We're kind of gonna slow down the challenge piece a little bit and bring you just different tips and different challenges like monthly. So I'm really excited. You've all been doing a really great job, and we see you. Just getting out there, putting yourself out there, and delivering more value to your sphere and your people.
We're gonna do different like month-long challenges, not necessarily slowing them down, but
Right.
we don't want you to feel the pressure of having to like post this thing in particular every day or whatever. So we're going to restructure how we're doing challenges and keep those going because we know that that's a big motivating factor for you guys. Good job, Debbie. All right, social media tip of the week.
So the tip this week is be the expert, and this kind of goes into just content ideas, but what are buyers or sellers constantly asking you? What are clients asking you? You could focus 1 week on buyer questions, 1 week on seller questions, but this is just an idea because I know sometimes the hardest part about posting is like not knowing what to post. So this is just something you can think about over the next week is how can I answer questions, commonly asked questions, and then you'll be there when they need you.
And I know Javier like actually had done this naturally in some of his postings because I remember he was like posted something about what questions do you have? And I straight up asked about like 1031 exchanges because I know about them, but like not as much as I should know about them. And so I think that these are an easy way to show people that you have a lot of authority on your subject and that you are the expert, and then also like good content.
Two big things in national news I wanted to cover over the last week is that EXP acquired Nexthome, which is an interesting move because we have, Nexthome is a franchise model for those of you that don't know, and EXP is not. So, and then they changed their NASDAQ ticker from EXPI to AGNT to reflect that move. Also, Zillow is now suing Compass and MRED. So a long time ago, Compass was suing Zillow and they dropped it, but now Zillow's suing Compass and MRED, and here's why. So Compass and MRED are really like advocating for this private listing network. And if you're a member of MRED, you have access to like listings that aren't publicly marketed. Then if and when you decide to push them out, your days would start at 0. Whereas Zillow, and they're also threatening to cut off Zillow's. So a long time ago, let me back up. Zillow said, hey, if you do private listings, we're never going to put that property with that agent on Zillow. Like, we're going to block that. And at first they're like, how are they going to do that? But they've been pretty successful, I guess. So then when Compass announced their partnership with MRED, and they were going to take MRED nationwide because it's primarily Midwest, primarily Illinois based, it kind of ruffled a lot of feathers, including Zillow's, because now what they've done is they've sent emails and they've had conversations with Zillow saying, hey, you better lift this ban or we're going to pull our feed from you. And so they're positioning themselves in this position of power and withholding information from Zillow, which is how Zillow thrives. So I'm just flabbergasted that like this is where we're at, right? Is there's this huge war between private listings and coming soons, and I'm just still learning and still reading about it because it depends on who writes the article and how, what information is kind of shared. So this morning I read one that Zillow wrote, and of course it was very much skewered into why they're suing Compass and MRED and how they're being threatened by them. So they're suing them for what's antitrust. It's another antitrust suit saying, hey, you can't do that. That's not right. You're taking information away from the public. So I know, Sandy, I think you guys covered this. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, Josh said that he thinks that anytime these lawsuits are filed anymore, it's just for publicity. It's not real. Because really, when Zillow and, when I was covering down on the Zillow and MRED and Compass thing yesterday, it was like, wait a minute, Zillow cited in their lawsuit, oh, you forced us to change our business model. Like, who the fuck sues over something like that? Like, they're not even suing over laws anymore. It's just like, I'm mad at you right now, so I'm going to sue you. And so I found that very interesting because I just think it's more for publicity, just to keep it in the news right now. You know what I'm saying? So that would be my comments. Brian, I saw you on mute for a sec. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I was gonna throw it in the comments, but I just think the lawyers for both companies are friends, so they're like suing each other to take money from the companies and making each other rich.
I mean, they're the only winners here. It's very interesting to see these private listing networks, So does that mean they're going to sue that Tennessee MLS that just went national? Why only MRED? Like, Compass just partnered with the Tennessee MLS that went national. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. So yeah. Alibis. Who's got what? I know that Emily has some stuff she wanted to discuss.
Yes, so I have a listing currently that has been sitting on the market. So just curious on everyone's insights on what they do, especially with leaning towards more of like luxury, high end, like above 500K. Because this listing now we are at like about 510, 514 in that range. And it was overpriced at first, which, my sellers were aware, but at the end of the day, they decide what number they want to list at. I've done marketing through, of course, Kyle with the TC program. She's been amazing with that. I've done video recording, like professional video, and then as well as my own. Just curious on, everyone's insight on listings that have been sitting, what they have done, or what you guys have done, as well as like feedback to your sellers, what you typically contact them and talk about, I guess.
I
Hey,
can
Emily,
go ahead. Go ahead, Brennan.
what's its actual value? I know you've researched it. What's
Yeah,
its
the
value?
actual value of the home is about 490 for the comps I ran.
My initial thought is, Yep, overpriced. That's the number one thing that sellers want to do is they want to overprice, but they really hurt themselves when they just make them sit on the market. And you're probably losing out on a whole group of
Yeah.
buyers with it being just over 500, where someone in that range is probably setting prices at 400 and under,
Yeah.
500 and under. So I would at least try and get them to that like 499 so it, they
Yeah.
get a whole new group of buyers
That's
looking.
true. Thank you, Brennan.
Emily, to add to that, one quick question. Do you think they would go to 499?
Yes, but like what my sellers have been wanting to do is just drop slowly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like dropping slowly. First of all, number one, it shows that they're not open or interested to potentially negotiate, which I had a agent actually call me about. And they're like, "Oh, are your sellers even like, looking to sell, or they're just like, playing around?" And then I had a conversation, and my sellers were like, "Well, we'll do 10,000 at a time." And then, oh my gosh, it's not been good.
Well, what I was going to tell you to get additional exposure, since you did have a price drop, I would probably hold this until you get them to 499. But what I would tell you to do, and Damien can testify to this, um, I would tell you to get a subscription to My State MLS and put the listing on My State MLS, and it will actually make it look like a brand new listing. Um, I don't know if you know the tricks in the MLS. When you reduce the price, you should also change the header photo, and you should also change the description so the algorithms can put it out there or make it look like a new listing, or somebody will look at it again, because the price changed. Because some people just see the price and they glaze over the photos. So I would take the strategy of how could you reset it on the market without pulling it, because I know a lot of MLSs take 45 days to reset. So if you wanted to use that option, My State MLS is only like $45 a month. I would tell you to connect with Kyle, your TC, get that subscription, put it in My State, and it'll look like a brand new listing. And Damien will tell you he kind of went through that when we had that situation with the MLSs where we had to switch. So he can even tell you the response was like it looked like a brand new listing. So I feel like with the recent drop, that may be a helpful marketing tactic. Other than the yes, you need to, it's the oldest problem in our profession is pricing stuff too high. So it's
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
like if you are looking for an alternative boost in marketing, I would say off the top, very affordable. I think that might be a strategy you could use.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah, we did change up the description. I did that, but the photos thing though is a good idea. I should probably flip those around, change it up, kind of refresh it a little bit.
Yeah, those are both great ideas. Done on some of the stuff percolating in my head. Also, Zillow Showcase. Have you considered doing a Zillow Showcase
No, I
tour,
haven't
virtual
yet. I
tour?
should do that.
Okay. That may just get extra exposure. And then I've not, in my market's so small, but I know Sandy's done like broker opens before. So you'd actually invite like other agents to come because they may have clients that just haven't seen it, or, they can
Yes,
bring it to their clients, things like
that's
that.
such good
So
ideas.
that's another idea. And then one thing that I don't think is done enough, but Debbie just reminded me that it does happen, is reach out to other agents with homes in that area in that price range and see
Oh,
if you
okay.
can all do a big open house like Saturday around the same time. And that
Yeah.
will really help drive traffic to all of your guys' listings, because
Yeah.
then the buyers that are interested can go to all of them within the same hour or two. So that's something to think about as well.
And to
Yes.
piggyback off of Holly's open house idea, usually if you guys get together and say, hey, if they have like a card that you punch or, mark each time they bring to a different house to make sure they hit all 3 or 4 houses or whatever. And then you guys pool in for gift cards. So like, oh, if you hit all these houses, you'll get a gift card or something like that. So the first house would give them a page or whatever, and then with a map and show them the rest of them. And that way, that's how you encourage them to go to all of them. Back to the broker open. I never say never. I usually especially with a house of that price point, I don't suggest a price reduction unless it comes from a bunch of agents. So that's usually my point of a broker open, is not only will, you get them through the house, which is nice because then they have, eyes on the house. It's top of mind for when they do have a buyer and stuff like that. But if on their feedback sheets, most of them are saying this should be priced at 480 or something like that, right? It's you're not the bad guy anymore. Like, here are several agents giving you this feedback. So it's up to you guys if you actually want to sell this house or not.
Yeah, that is actually a really good idea that I never thought of, that punch card, the agent broker open houses and all of that, especially the feedback portion. I feel that from multiple different people that will uh I guess like emphasize more that, hey, this needs to be done versus just me, myself, and I. And maybe they're like, oh, we want to try just a 10K reduction, which we've done that like 5 times. Like, I am not even kidding, like 5 times already. And so we definitely are getting closer, but we're still far
What do you
from.
mean getting closer? Are they just not receptive to a price reduction?
Like, we've done price reductions
Oh,
because
you've
we've
already
been
done
so
them.
overpriced. So like every time we price reduce, I'm like, hey, this is the comps I've ran. This is what sold, around your neighborhood. This number is what we need to be at in order for us to, get this
I want you to
go.
remember this story so you can tell it to the next people that want to overprice their house.
Yes.
Because I'm guaranteeing that this house will sell for less than it could have sold for had you priced it to
Right.
sell from the
Yep.
very beginning. And it's a lot of headaches. Just
Yeah.
because you price something doesn't mean that you're going to get it.
Yes.
Hey, Emily, quick question. Have you told them about, there's a digital footprint for every time they reduce, and so it's public knowledge of their reduction plan.
Yes. And
That
so I
normally,
told them that even open houses, I had people that walk through and ask, what's wrong with this house? Like, people think something's wrong with the house because it's been listed for so long and also multiple price reductions. So, yes. Yeah, definitely for sure, Lindsay.
I know sometimes I screenshot like the Zillow where it shows the public how many times they've reduced, and sometimes when the
Oh,
client
that I haven't
sees,
done yet. I should.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes when they see what you're saying, not just hear what you're saying,
Right.
they actually see how it is public knowledge, and like their decisions are, you know, it's not a private thing, and the imaging. So that also is another thing that I've done in the past that kind
Yeah.
of puts it in their mind. Sometimes they're just not getting it.
Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Sandy, Holly, everyone.
Also, if you can run a search on all the homes in their area in that like price range of where they should be, where they were at, all the homes that actually went under contract while they did not, because them listing high inadvertently helped a bunch of other homes get sold. But sometimes, again, Lindsay said they need to see it. You can say it all you want, but they need to see it.
That's true.
I get a lot of responses to, like, I don't know how early you get up, but if you post, like, I use Facebook a lot, and I'll run my listing on Facebook, and then I found out with the mobile app you can actually share it to the groups all at once, and I'll usually do that like every morning about 5 or 6 in the morning. And when I do that, I notice, like, especially with like my state MLS, because I'm not with NAR or nothing like that, but I'm getting a lot of calls from agents saying, "Hey, I haven't, my client saw um, your listing, but I'm not finding it anywhere on MLS." And then that opens that conversation with them as well. So, I mean, Facebook helps a lot.
Thank you. Definitely gonna work on this for the 10. Oh, it's actually 10:32 now. I was gonna say
Hit
10:30.
DC up as well. He just got a listing under contract that took him forever to sell. And he
Yeah.
did a lot of different uh, strategies to get it to sell. So he might be worth hitting up.
Yeah. Sounds good. I'll reach out to him.
Like, he had it for like a year.
Oh my
So
gosh, yeah. I'm
yeah.
getting to that mark. It's 3 months from a year.
Yeah. All right. Anybody got anything else? All right, Holly, close us out.
All right. When in doubt, reach out, message us if you need us. We are here for you. We all started this morning with a blank slate at 0. So go out and talk to a buyer, a seller, or an agent today. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.